Hi again everyone. So this time on the skin softening, I'm going to look at a different technique which uses surface blur and smart blur. It's a little bit more long-winded than the one that we just did using median. Median is one I would prefer because I find that sometimes the results are slightly better. Now before I go on, I'll just advise, the last recording I did, it probably comes up on the PC. It's been a little pixelated, but trust me, it does work. Give it a try. You'll see the results firsthand. It's a bit difficult on a video. I'm not using the best recording system, but it gives you an idea of what it does. So I've kept the median version up, as you can see. So I'm going to switch that off, and I'm going to make a copy of the original layer. I'll take that to the top. So we're back to the original face of Cara. So from here, you go into Filter, Blur, and then Surface Blur. Now I would usually keep the threshold to 15 and the radius around the 14, maybe even 13 mark. And you can see that straight away there's a blur on there. So we'll OK on that. Now this will be a bit more long-winded if you haven't got your system set to how you want it. The first time around is always going to take longer getting your settings right and getting the look right that you want. But once you've done that, you can basically go. The other thing that I would look to do using CS5 is to record my own adjustments, so that basically click of a button, it'll do it straight away for you. Early morning I'm recording this, my brain's not working, so some of the names are deluding me at the moment. Eluding me. So from there, once you've done the surface blur, go back into blur, and this time you're selecting smart blur. And all this basically does is takes what you've done and just changes it. It just adds a bit more of a softness to it. Now the radius I would always keep at 3. Threshold sometimes throw it to about 100 and change it to a high quality. And we'll OK on that. Sometimes with the surface blur, basically you get some markings around some of the shadowing on the face, and all that the smart blur does is reduces that down a bit. So straight away we've got a much blurrier image. And from here, same as before, add an adjustment, fill that with black so it goes back to normal. Now I'm going to zoom in on the face again so we can see the differences. And the same as before, selecting your brush. I forgot to mention the last one that you always need to make sure your brush is set at white. If you set it as black, I'll swap it over, and you start painting, nothing will happen because you're doing black on black. So basically if I was to do white and I accidentally started to paint over the eye, which I don't want, I would just go back to black and just paint over it again, and it'll just remove what you've done. Right, so we'll go back to white then. So let's start painting over the skin. Now again, you might find on your screen it's starting to come up a bit pixelated. It's just the recording that I'm using for some reason pixelates it on me. I may redo it if I get a better recording system, but this one does the job just to show you roughly what needs to be done to do the softening and things. So it's just more to show you the techniques that I've used over the years that I've been learning Photoshop. And it's basically about finding something that works for you, something that you like. I started off with a skin blurring technique, which was very long-winded using Gaussian blur. Much more long-winded than this. Right, so that's the face painted, and you can see straight away the difference. Now again, if it was too heavy, you could take the opacity down, add that back in. We'll take it to 75% like the other one. And there's your slight difference. Now I want to show you the difference between the median and the surface blur. So we've got surface blur up at the moment. There's the median. And look at that, there's no difference whatsoever, really, not that I can see. Let's zoom in a little bit more and see if it comes up with anything. Right, let's go back. So there's the original. There's with median. No difference at all. It depends what you want to use. I use median. Surface blur is fine, but they're the results that you'll get. Thanks.